This is Jonathan Shuttlesworth. The prayer that Jesus left us with was to pray for laborers to go out into the harvest field. If there's one thing this last school shooting showed us, if there was ever a time that America needed a new generation of workers in the harvest field, it's now. That's why we're raising up those ministers and workers at Revival Today Bible Institute. Our inaugural class is this September. If you've been moved recently in your spirit that I want to do something to affect my generation for eternity, this is the place to come and get trained. We start this September. You can apply today at revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com. I want you to join this army that God's raising up. The devil's not going to write the last chapter of your generation. You and many others are going to get raised up in the power of the Holy Spirit, go forth with the Word of God, and take one more run with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Will you join us? Apply today, revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com, and I'll see you this fall.
Hello, everybody. I've got some exciting news. We are in the process of launching a faith-based credit union, and so we'd like to welcome you to fill out a survey that is going to be used in the application process. You can go to revivaltoday.com/credit union and fill that out. And thanks ahead of time for filling it out and being a part of this great journey in the world of finance.
Byron! Oh no! Oh yeah!
Cool. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I didn't think we were live yet. How's everybody doing? D&D Investments from Portland, Oregon. Ninja, Wayne, good morning. Michael, good morning.
All the people who are not commenting but watching.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody who's not commenting but watching. Thank you for tuning in. For Freedom, good morning to you. Make sure you share the broadcast. Should you buy the Bitcoin crash? We'll find out today. Is it going to go lower? Possibly. How far from 200? Anyway, we probably have about 50 submissions right now. We can do better than that. Casey from Zambia, thanks for tuning in. Kenny, Matthew from San Antonio. Thank you, everybody. Yesterday was a down day in the market.
Oh, I can't imagine if today's going to be an up day or down day. It's a 50-50.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance every day.
Futures are up, though.
Oh, great.
So that's good.
We can all be happy about something.
Yes.
Right, Pat?
Yes. We are down to, we're in the 29s. So back in the 20s. NASDAQ 11,000. S&P 3,600. Oil is down to $115 a barrel. We'll be talking about oil today as well. Let's get into it, see what's going on.
Get into it. Go for it. Exclusive, WHO makes push to limit Africa's CDC power. See it. Around 40 African health ministers gathered virtually Tuesday to discuss amendments of the statute of the African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention that would give it more autonomy. Continue. During these closed discussions, about a dozen ministers called for that independence to be reined in, echoing points made in a document from the WHO's Regional Office for Africa. DevEx obtained a copy of the document. Sources familiar with the discussions referred to this briefing of ministers as the United Nations lobbying on what should be an African Union process, and if successful, it would block reform of Africa CDC and undermine its ability to respond to health crises and prevent pandemics. A WHO spokesperson told DevEx that while it is not against granting Africa CDC expanded powers, including the ability to declare and coordinate health emergencies, the suggested changes would constitute an unprecedented arrangement that requires more discussion, further analysis, and a full consideration of its implications. Africa CDC, which was launched in 2017, rose to prominence for its leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. In a historic move in February, heads of state endorsed efforts to elevate it from a specialized technical institution to a public health agency with much more autonomy. The move would allow it to mobilize and respond rapidly to crises, removing bureaucratic overhead that results in delays and restraints on what it can do. But actualizing these changes is a multi-step, ongoing process within the AU. So it's extremely, there's like probably 8 more slides in this article. But it's something to watch if you're in Africa specifically, because the African Union is basically the one holding back a lot of the stuff happening at the WHO, like the treaty and then the international health regulations from a lot of the crazy amendments going forward. So the fact that the WHO is like, oh, we might grant the
Who are you?
Exactly.
Africa is independent.
Yep.
There's no colonies. As somebody who lived in Africa and somebody who loves Africa, and someone whose father was born in Africa,
Yep.
that upsets me. That all these bureaucrats at the UN think that Africa is still like a continent to be colonized.
Exactly.
It's
and
not.
the people
They're
there see that,
independent.
right? Like the
Yeah.
people there see that, and they've been played in, like they've been guinea pigs for long enough that generations have been exposed to that they're like literally a screw you attitude. They're like, get out of here.
Kick the UN out of Africa. That's what I say.
I totally agree. Next. Senator John Kennedy. Go for it, sir.
President Clinton appointed what one commentator called this week a bunch of high IQ stupid people. In other words, they were well educated but no common sense. President Biden has appointed whack jobs. I mean, it's like these people dropped acid in an outback parking lot. You can't reason with them. That they are just so woke, and that's the difference, in my opinion, and why they haven't course corrected.
Just love his language.
Yeah,
we need more
he always has
politicians.
some great sound bites.
Exactly. Get all of those. Next. Extreme heat and humidity killed thousands of cattle in Kansas this week so far. An estimated 10,000 heads of fat cattle dead. Go for it.
Oh no.
So there you go, and it literally just continues on. But the same thing is happening in Nebraska, happening over in Africa.
So
Happening
they died from the heat?
supposedly from the heat. So we can stop the video. But my father raised cattle growing up. I've talked to some farmers. Evangelist Jonathan last night, we talked about this a little bit and showed the same clip. But the thing is he read that from a cattle rancher that, yeah, it's like the heat can do this. But from the people that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, maybe like 5, maybe 10 from extreme heat. But thousands is absurd.
Yeah.
Like the heat doesn't happen to cattle. So it's just weird.
I see.
It's just something very strange that's happening
So they
globally.
can't just like load them up on trucks and take them to the processing plants, or
No.
what?
No,
Why?
after they're dead, I don't remember what if it's a release of chemical, but their meat is basically, it ends up becoming toxic, and it's sitting out in the sun.
Ah, man,
so
all
it's
that
like
steak
all
just
that.
laying
Literally,
there.
I just see like meatballs,
All those fillets.
filet mignon, dead, cooked.
Man.
Next. Exclusive top public health epidemiologist says vaccines were never recommended for air travel. What are you laughing at?
John says, I wondered what those dead cows knew about the Clintons.
Oh my God. They were suicided. All the lawyers for PETA are going to be on their cases. Okay, top public health epidemiologist says vaccine mandates were never recommended for air travel. This is in Canada. The head of epidemiologists for the Public Health Agency of Canada admitted while I was cross-examining her that they never recommended vaccination for air travelers, said Keith Wilson, a lawyer challenging the requirements on behalf of former Newfoundland Premier Brian Peckford, who is the last surviving signatory of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, who has a lawsuit against the government currently. So all this stuff just keeps coming out. Next. From EMI's Chong, they are afraid of Desantis. Good. From Business Insider, Desantis is a very dangerous individual because he has already absorbed all the lessons of Trump, but doesn't have any of the baggage and expert on fascism, argues. Yeah.
An expert on fascism.
On fascism.
Business Insider, I used to enjoy reading them when I was in college.
I know.
It was a great resource, and it was a great place to get business news, and now it's basically one of those rags that you pick up on in the grocery store while you're checking out.
Yeah, literally. But I'm happy that some people are scared when somebody's taking a stand for good things.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. Next.
This is what $875,000 gets you in Texas.
And this is what $875,000 buys you in Oshawa, Ontario, also known as the armpit of Ontario.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously.
$875,000 for that house.
And honestly, if you were just a little, if you were, I don't know, a little bit closer to Toronto, that would be like 1.5 mil for that house. That tiny little house. Yeah, that's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Same within like Vancouver, throughout BC. Alberta, places in Alberta. Yeah, that's how bad it's gotten.
Man.
It's crazy. Next. Wow, so progressive. Look at all the plants of building on the building. You flyover country. Good one, Brennan. Next. This is how you deal with climate terrorists. Italian motorists dealing with global warming crazies. Bravo. Go for it.
Io lo faccio. No, senza usare la violenza, per favore. Però scusate.
Probably get charged for that in America. No, in Italy. Yeah,
They're not getting charged.
They're not
for
getting
that.
charged. Look at them. They just drag them off. It's beautiful. They look young.
Come diritto a processare, ma io ho diritto di andare a lavorare, di andare a mangiare i miei figli. No, non lo so.
And he goes on for about another minute, so we won't watch it all. But it's just really happy. It's a good way to start your day. People are taking a stand.
Way to do the opposite of what you're trying to achieve by having all those cars idling for half an hour.
Yep.
Just emitting all these poisonous greenhouse gases all over the highway.
Yep.
Wow, great
People
job.
don't think things through very well. Next. To be honest, though, they probably were told to go do that by their university professor. So can't blame the
Extra
kids.
credit.
Extra. Yeah, literally. No, literally. In Saskatchewan, at the University of Saskatchewan, I went and covered a climate change protest like a year and a half ago. And I was like, hey, like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, well, we got like extra credit and the day off to come do this.
Oh, sweet.
And I was like, oh. Dum-dums. Ugh. Kansas heat wave kills at least 2,000 cattle, say officials. We just looked at this. Continue. How to hustle harder. Have you ever heard a crackhead say, I have no money, I'm not going to smoke today? No, they always find a way. Don't let a crackhead out hustle you. Wake up at 4 a.m. And don't do this. Don't do the last part and start smoke. I'm not even gonna say it. Don't do the last sentence.
I can
but
actually see him saying that though.
That's why we put it up. But don't smoke crack, kids. Just wake up at 4 a.m. and do something with your life. Next. The world's okay. So we've been talking about Bill Gates and a lot of the get rid of all of the meat, cheese, dairy, everything that's really actually good for you. So I wanted to point this out. The world's largest cricket production facility is officially complete. Aspire Food Group's new plant in London, Ontario, is ready to produce 9,000 metric tons of crickets annually for human and pet consumption.
Thank you, Canada.
Yes. So Alistan did the construction on that one. So, crickets.
Who wants to work there with all those crickets?
Well, it'd probably be soothing
Are they
to hear.
growing the crickets there?
Yeah. It'd probably be soothing to hear all their
No.
little chirps. I think it would be nice and soothing.
No way.
Loveliness. Next.
Dalio is right to short Europe, strategist says. The pain will go on for quite a while. So Ray Dalio, the head of Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, is going short on Europe, which means that he's going negative. Let's see it. Billionaire investor Ray Dalio is right to have a bet against European stocks, and global markets still have enough road ahead, according to Beat Whitman, partner at Zurich-based Porta Advisors. Dalio's Bridgewater Associates has at least $6.7 billion in short positions against European stocks, according to data group Breakout Point, which aggregated the firm's public disclosures. It is unknown whether Bridgewater's shorts are outright bets against the stocks or part of a hedge. The Connecticut-based fund's 22 short targets in Europe, including a $1 billion bet against Dutch semiconductor equipment supplier ASML Holding, which I really like that stock. $705 million against France's Total Energies, $600, which is interesting that he's going negative against energy as well. $646 million against French drug maker Sanofi, according to Breakout Point data. Other big names also shorted by the firm include Santander, Bayer, AXA, ING Group, and Allianz, which Santander and ING Group are banks. AXA is also in banking, but they're also insurance, and Allianz is also insurance. I think he's on the right side of the story, and it's quite interesting to see what strategies have performed best this year. Continue. I think he's on the right side of the story. It's basically the trend following quantitative strategies, which performed very strongly, no surprise. And interesting, the short-long strategies have been pretty disastrous, and of course, needless to say that long-only has been the worst, so I think now he's on the right side of his investment strategy. The Pan-European Stock 600 index is down more than 16% year-to-date, although it hasn't quite suffered the same degree of pain as Wall Street so far. It's because European stocks never quite recovered as highly as the US did after COVID. However, Europe's proximity to the conflict in Ukraine and associated energy crisis, along with the global macroeconomic challenges of high inflation and supply chain issues, has led many analysts to downgrade their outlooks on the continent. So if you want to go short some European stocks, might be a good idea if Ray Dalio is doing it. Continue. Despite what was shaping to be a slight relief rally on Friday, Whitman agreed that the picture for stock markets globally could get worse before it gets better. It means we have better prices to buy in. I don't think we're close to any bottom, the overall indexes, and we cannot compare the average downturns of the last 40 years when we basically had a deflationary trend since the Paul Volcker time. He was Fed chairman. All right, next article. Should you buy the Bitcoin crash? Even some crypto bulls are saying not yet. I was talking to somebody this morning, and they were saying that we could potentially see 10 to 11,000 on Bitcoin, which is another 10,000 down from here.
Oh.
But if stocks go down a little bit more, then that is possible. For a long time, I thought that Bitcoin wasn't going to, or that cryptocurrency wasn't going to move in tandem with stocks, but I was surprised that it did. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everybody else that's just tuning in. This is Check the Market, where we check the market.
Stocks.
And the market is open. And the S&P 500 is up 3 points, NASDAQ up 43, and the Dow Jones is down 82 points. So a little bit of a reversal there from when we first started the show when everything was still up, way up. Let's see here. Oil is down, $115 a barrel, about 1.3%. Gold is down, silver's down. Cryptocurrencies, let's take a look. The market is up over the past 24 hours, 0.37%. Bitcoin's at 2601. Ethereum is at 1,075. Binance is right around 214. Cardano, 48 cents. XRP, 32 cents. Solana, $31. Dogecoin, 5.6 cents. So right around where it was yesterday morning. Avalanche is at $16 per AVAX. All right, let's see the article. Good morning, Jenny. Bitcoin has been struggling this year. The market's biggest cryptocurrency is down roughly 70% from November highs. Actions from the Federal Reserve and fears of recession have placed consistent pressure on financial markets, and cryptocurrencies have been among the most challenged asset classes this year. Over the past week, last week, as Bitcoin fell through 23, then 22, then 21, Yahoo Finance Live has spoken with several investors about buying at these lower prices, and none of them said now is the time to buy. Although there were some people that did buy yesterday, large amounts. Yes, several $1 million. Unfortunately, at these levels, I'm not a buyer. Mark Lopresti, managing director at the Strategic Funds, told Yahoo Finance Live. In the crypto fund that I advise, we've been in 80% cash for a while now, just because of these choppy waters. Continue. Lopresti said that he has been hearing from some traders who say they'd back up the truck if Bitcoin fell to 19,000, but he was skeptical. We'll see. The Bitcoin futures-based Valkyrie Bitcoin Strategy ETF is down more than 50% this year, about in line with returns from the underlying currency. Valkyrie CEO Leah Wald, who also holds crypto personally, said she's not optimistic in the short term. It's historically true that we've weathered these types of storms, but we are firmly in a bear market now. It never feels good. On a short-term horizon, I'm very nervous about these markets, and I think we're in for a lot of pain over the next few months for sure, potentially longer. Continue. Lopresti, Wald, and others called the current period a flushing of the system for crypto. Anastasia Amoroso, chief investment strategist at iCapital, told Yahoo Finance that the current crash is healthy. It's kind of a good cleansing process we're going through. We need to weed out the froth, and we need to focus on the applications that have utility, that have an end use, and those are the ones that'll survive this. She, like the other investors, still thinks Bitcoin has value. Bitcoin, Ethereum, there's a couple of others that have value, but a lot of this is going to flush out all those coins that are being brought out that have no utility and that have no value. So basically all the gambling coins. Next. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Next. Wall Street is officially in a bear market. What strategists say investors should do. Justin asks, how come gold hasn't really followed the highs of inflation? That is a good question. If gold is, an independent market. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but when I see things like that, it tells me that the gold market is being manipulated in some way. So is silver, because all other metals are way up. Everything else is way up, but gold and silver is still trading, in the same ranges, that tells me that that it's being manipulated somehow. The U.S. stock market met popular criteria for a bear market this week as the latest declines by the S&P 500 took the U.S. large cap benchmark down more than 20% from its record close in January. Investors no doubt are wondering how far stocks might fall from here and what to do next. The S&P 500 met the bear market threshold on Monday and has largely remained under pressure this week aside from a Wednesday bounce following the Federal Reserve's 75 basis point rate hike, its largest in nearly 28 years. Fears that drastic rate hikes may trigger a recession in the next year are hanging over markets. Analysts say there was a survey released this morning, a survey of CEOs in the U.S., and now it's up to 60% that say that there could be recession. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. The Fed is hoping for a soft landing, so no recession. But we'll see what happens. Continue. I do love a good conspiracy too, Amy. I think it's interesting. Strategists said the current market decline is likely far from over. According to George Ball, chairman of the investment firm Sander Morris Harris, bear markets bring an average 38% decline in stocks from peak to trough, which suggests there may be further downside ahead. Through Thursday's close, the S&P 500 was down 23.6% from its January 3rd peak close. Any upward moves we may see in the near term are merely relief rallies. Ball wrote an email to MarketWatch on Tuesday. Chasing rallies in this bear market environment should be avoided, something that I do every single day. In addition, Ball emphasized the importance of having a cash cushion emergency reserves for turbulence. Smart investors will have 10 to 20% in cash for the time being. I think it's good to have a good amount of cash set aside for when the bear market hits bottom. Because if they're saying there's an average 38% decline in stocks, there's still a way to go. We still have about 23, 15%, 14%, 13% to go until we hit there, and then it'll be good to buy. Because that's why it's important for you to make that list that I've been talking about, the list of stocks you want to buy, because look at some of those stocks back in 2008. Some other market downturns, even 2020, when we had that flash crash from the lockdowns and everything. Take a look at those stocks and see the returns that they could have brought you over the long term. And then just get in those stocks and stay in them. Or if that depends on your trading strategy. But your long-term ones, you wanna stay in them. Continue. Rosie says, what happened to Exxon? Let's see. Exxon's not down that much today. Yes, the good old days. Next. Pope Francis declares Paul Pelosi to be... Yes. Next. A list of stocks, Linda. I have a personal list that I look at. I'll bring some of those in. You need to come up with your own list, like do your own research on some of those companies, because I can tell you, buy into this company, and it might not be something that you're interested in. It's just something that you're buying. I think that everybody should get involved in some sort of investment, and they should do research on that company and see, because if you're interested in a company, it'll be easier for you to invest, and it'll be easier for you to look it up. I'll bring my list in of stocks that I'm looking at for the bottom for Monday.
Is that true? Markets are going to be closed on Monday for Juneteenth Day?
Yes, it's a holiday now. It was declared a holiday in 2020.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes, U.S. Steel is way down right now, and they are a solid company. There's a bunch of steel companies that have taken a hit here recently over the past couple of weeks that you can take a look at. Next. Dogecoin investor sues Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX
Wow.
for $258 billion, claiming pyramid scheme. If I was a judge, I would throw this out immediately just for the obscene amount that somebody is suing for. $258 billion for what? What did you lose? $1,000?
$1,000.
It has no value at all. Lawsuit says it's simply a fraud. Let's see it. A Dogecoin investor is suing Elon Musk and two of his companies, Tesla and SpaceX, for $258 billion, accusing them of operating a pyramid scheme to inflate the price of the cryptocurrency. The lawsuit filed Thursday by Keith Johnson in Manhattan Federal Court accuses Musk and his companies of committing fraud, as well as violating federal and state racketeering and gambling laws, and seeks class action status on behalf of Dogecoin investors who have lost money since April 2019. Defendants falsely and deceptively claim that Dogecoin is a legitimate investment when it has no value at all. Dogecoin is not a currency, stock, or security. It is not based upon or tied to anything of value. It's simply a fraud whereby greater fools are deceived, including you, into buying the coin at a higher price. Johnson's suit seeks $86 billion in damages, which is the amount he claims Dogecoin investors have lost since Musk started purchasing, promoting in 2019, plus triple damages of $172 billion. It also seeks to block Musk and his companies from promoting Dogecoin and an order equating Dogecoin trading to gambling. What is wrong? I don't understand. I just don't understand it. Of course it's gambling. It's a cryptocurrency. It's a cryptocurrency that has no value and no utility.
Yes.
What else would it be?
So but people willingly buy into it.
Yes, I willingly bought into it,
Yeah.
and I was willing to lose everything that I put into it. I made money on it.
This guy's
so
just a little sour.
I guess.
He's just a little sour.
It just, I don't know. All this like suing and lawsuits, it like baffles me sometimes. Way to bog down the justice system.
You're obviously very bored in life.
There's things that are, more important to take to court than a Dogecoin
Not to Keith.
lawsuit.
Keith Johnson wants this case. Let him have his day in court.
Continue. That's right. Jebediah, class action, so you get like $5 and lawyers get a big payday. Continue. And Jenny, you're right. Trading is gambling. See, if you don't do your own research, then trading is gambling because you're just taking someone's word for it. It would be like, me saying, go bet on whatever at the roulette table. Black, whatever 13 or whatever it is, black 14, whatever. Put all your money on it. If you don't do your research, then that's basically gambling. And that's not a great example because it doesn't matter if you do research on roulette or not, it's still gambling. Musk, the world's richest individual, has tweeted about Dogecoin numerous times over the past few years, often sparking a rally in the coin's price. In April 21, Musk dubbed himself the Doge Father. While prompting his upcoming appearance on Saturday Night Live, Dogecoin tumbled a day after the show aired, after it was called a hustle in a sketch Musk appeared in. Yeah, but what does it matter? It's just people listening to somebody. You could say that any number of people manipulate the market then.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
every time you see a CEO or a CFO or somebody on Fox Business talking about a specific stock and what sort of products they're coming out, you can in live time see the stock price go up. So are they manipulating?
Yeah, that's a good example.
Next. With the Fed raising rates, companies take a fresh look at financing costs. This is good news. CFOs are looking to buy back debt and review cash management strategies as interest rates increase. They should have been doing this all along anyway.
But we got to this point.
We got to this point,
Finally.
and now Revlon is declaring bankruptcy because they have too much debt. And they're not going to be the only one. There's going to be other companies, but it's good that CFOs are looking at their company's cash management strategies instead of just frivolously throwing money out. Continue. We can go to the next article. Jean-Pierre on drilling more in the U.S. We don't need to do that. Yes. President Biden argues oil companies must increase refinery capacity. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre shot down calls to increase oil drilling in the U.S. on Thursday, saying the country doesn't need it. Jean-Pierre made the comments in response to questions from Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy. Doocy pressed Jean-Pierre to explain why President Biden's administration is seeking to alleviate skyrocketing gas prices by calling on oil companies to increase productivity at refineries instead of calling for more drilling. Jean-Pierre argued that oil companies cut refinery capacity at the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic and have yet to increase that capacity back to pre-pandemic levels. Biden argues this, combined with the Russia invasion of Ukraine, is causing the increase in gas prices. How about the sanctions that you push through? Why not just drill more here in the US, though, Doocy asked. Because we don't need to do that. We need oil companies. What we need oil companies to do is, with the oil that's out there, we need them to refine that oil so that the capacity can go up and that prices can go down. Yes, because oil is finite and is infinite in every single one of these places that they're pumping it out of right now. So this makes a lot of sense. You're basically telling these companies to just do a short-term thing, right?
Yeah.
And invest, but not invest for the long term. If I personally had an oil company, I would say no to this. I'd be like, if you're not going to let me drill more and grow my company for the future, then I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. I think it's also funny how the administration is asking the industry to provide what the administration should do next.
Yes.
Like tell us what we should do next. And it's like they've been telling you for since Biden came into office what they should be doing next.
You say you want to lower the oil prices, and yet there's still lawsuits.
Yes.
That you're fighting, that block drilling and block development.
Yep.
So are you really serious? That's the question.
I also think this administration, with regards to this one issue, is incredibly childish because they're taking none of the responsibility upon themselves for what they've actually done to try and kill off the industry.
Yeah.
And yet they're trying to run cover, and nobody's really buying it. I haven't seen anybody buying it.
No, nobody's buying it.
I think it's just very childish.
It's refinery capacity. Where are you going to get the oil from? You're going to buy oil from Saudi Arabia and Venezuela, bring it here and refine it? Come on. All right, let's take a look at some stocks to research. So yesterday I was asked to take a look at Genius Brands. So I looked at Genius Brands, and it's not Shaq's company. That's it's something else. I thought it was. But Genius Brands is a global content and brand management company that creates and licenses multimedia content. I've talked about this before. This company, it was on on Wall Street Bets radar.
Really?
Yeah. So Wall Street Bets, if you look at some of the highs was exactly when all these other meme stocks had highs. So this was a meme stock back in 2020 and 21. And I went back through my trades, and I saw that I did trade this. But I wouldn't invest in it right now. It's actually being delisted from NASDAQ for failing to meet requirements because it's trading at 78 cents.
Wow.
And so I wouldn't invest in this company right now. Genius Brands. Yeah, because there was a ton of short interest in the stock, which, caused the short squeeze that then caused it to go up. And they did that a couple of times, and that's why it was on the Wall Street Bets crowd. So Genius Brands, I wouldn't buy that right now. I am still looking at Asia Broadband, AABB. It's an over-the-counter stock. I'm trying to find more information on it because there's not a lot on any of my trading platforms on it. No financials or anything like that. So I got to look more into that one. And then I'm going to bring that list of companies that I'm looking at buying so I can get all of them correct. Acre Trader, Shuttlesworth.com. I know that we've talked about farmland, and somebody asked me about farmland the last couple of days. So farmland, there's a website out there called acretrader.com where you can purchase parcels of farmland that is then rented out to farmers. So you'll get rent payments as well as any increase in the value of the property. When you sell, you'll be receiving from 3 to 8 to 11% annually through rents, and obviously there'll be a payout when there's a sale of the farmland. This is a long-term investment though. So it's not something, it's a company where you invest, and because it's not a very liquid company, it's not like trading the stock market, you'll have to take your money, if you want to take your money out, you'll have to wait for them to open up time periods where you can take your money out.
Ah, interesting.
So take a look at it, acretrader.com, if you're interested in doing that. I know I've talked about this before, but this is one where you can get started with, $500, $1,000 that you can invest in farmland. If you'd like to invest in farmland and you don't have, $30, $40, $100, $200,000 that you'd like to invest in farmland. So this is a good way to do that. acretrader.com. Just be aware that also with, prices of real estate going slightly dipping, there could be a dip in the value of it just over the next couple of months, just so you're aware of that. But take a look at it, acretrader.com. acretrader.com. So that's one that I wanted to let everybody know about. And then one of the biggest lies about money, this is the tip of the day, that you learn growing up, is that you need a lot of money to start investing. You can open up a Robinhood account. You can open up, a TD Ameritrade account. It doesn't cost you any money to open up these accounts. And you can start investing $10, $100, whatever it is, just to learn how to do it. And start small. And then as it continues to grow over the years, put money in every month. Even if you put $10 in, $5 in every single month. Over the long term, that's going to grow into a sizable portfolio. So you don't need large amounts of money to begin investing. You can begin investing with small amounts of money. So start investing, especially now that the markets are coming down. There's going to be good opportunities to buy. It's going to turn from a seller's market to a buyer's market here. And that's already starting to show. Patrick, I believe you're the one who told me about Asia Broadband. I'm still looking into it, and I'll let you know. I couldn't find, financials on it and any of my platforms, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit more of a deep dive on that one. But I'll let you know. Awesome. Well, that was it for today. If you'd like to invest in Revival Today, it's a good place to put your seed. I've seen some of the greatest returns. No, I would say the greatest returns that I've ever seen is when I invest in the kingdom of God. So there are the ways to do that. # donate on Facebook. You can text RT to 50155. Cash App, $ RTGive, Venmo at RTGive, PayPal, cryptocurrencies. Craig, you can lose your shirt and you can start today. Basically, yes, you can lose your shirt if you do invest, but you can also, over the long run, if you're smart about it, make good amount of money. Cryptocurrencies and also checks. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. And the offer is that book on economics by Henry Hazlitt. So I'll send that to you as a way of saying thank you. It's a good book on economics, and everybody should have a basic understanding of how economics work. So we'll send that to you as a way of saying thank you. Make sure you make it out for the 40 Days of Glory, which start on Tuesday, June 21st, here at Revival Today Church. Make sure you sign up for the Bible Institute if you're interested in going to Bible school, launching this fall. revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com. And then also fill out the survey for the credit union. Go to revivaltoday.com/credit union if you're interested in joining our credit union. Take a look at that. And thank you to everybody who's already filled out the surveys. It's what we need. It's a part of the application process. We need to show that there's plenty of interest, and so we need to send those surveys in. It's revivaltoday.com/credit union. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Go out there and make some money today. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We'll see ya. Hello, everybody. I've got some exciting news. We are in the process of launching a faith-based credit union, and so we'd like to welcome you to fill out a survey that is going to be used in the application process. You can go to revivaltoday.com/credit union and fill that out. And thanks ahead of time for filling it out and being a part of this great journey in the world of finance.